I'm just getting set up here and sending a link across to a couple of places before we get going. So give me 2 seconds to get organized. Hope you're all doing well. I'll just get going in 1 second. We start at 12, guys. So 1 sec. There we go. Hope you're all having a good day and ready to learn a little bit about movement, or at least maybe pick up some tips to get your journey started with gusto. So welcome, guys. I'm Edward from Weight Loss with Edward, and I'm here to talk to you today about movement and how to incorporate a bit of movement to get the weight off, get life feeling better, and just be more healthy in general. So let me start off by saying that fat cells are calories that you've brought in that you couldn't use up. Calories are an energy source. That's what they are. So that's why when we eat, we have energy to live. If we have fat on our body, that means that we've brought in more energy than our body could use up. And so it stores the excess energy in little cells called fat cells, and that's the fat that we have on our body. If we want to lose weight, which means burn fat, what we want to do is use up the calories that we've consumed so that our body has to turn to those excess energy pockets or fat cells to use them up, and we burn fat. So if you imagine that you eat your evening meal and hypothetically nothing else afterwards, although I'm sure for many of you that might not be true, but if you ate your evening meal, you've brought in a whole heap of calories. Your body has to work through those calories and use them up throughout the evening. And at some point they run out and your body will switch to running on burning fat cells. That's how you burn fat, and it happens mostly through the night. So where does movement come into this? So evening movement. If you go for a walk after your evening meal and you're not having any calories afterwards, then you are going to burn more calories from that consumed calorie pile that you've brought in with that evening meal. So that the point where you run out of consumed calories and have to switch to running on burning fat cells, that comes much earlier in the evening. So there are more consecutive hours on running on burning fat through the night. So that's why the little biscuit at night, by the way, the little cup of tea or bag of crisps or glass of wine in the evening, that's why it causes so much bother, because your body wants to use up the consumed calories and switch to running on burning fat cells. But the more calories we put in and the later in the day we put them in, the more troublesome for getting fat off, because it's got more consumed calories to work through. So if you've had your evening meal and then you were to go for a long walk, compared to sitting on the sofa for the evening, you might burn 300 or 400 calories as opposed to 100, maybe 150 sitting on the sofa. So you're getting through those consumed calories quicker. Therefore, you'll get into fat burning mode quicker and you will burn fat more that night. Sleep's really important, by the way, when it comes to burning fat. But that's for another day. I hope you can join us for that wee chat about sleep. So yeah, working through your calories by getting some movement in the evening so that you can get into fat burning mode quicker. It tires you out and it works out stress and it lowers your cortisol levels by getting some gentle exercise in the evening, which makes for a better night's sleep. The better night's sleep, the more you sleep, the more you lose. Being outside, if you're getting exercise outside, provides vitamin D. Most people, certainly in the UK, are quite deficient in vitamin D. So being outside in the world helps with that. It's good for your mental health. Being out in the world is better for your mental health than sitting in the house. So if you're looking to make your life better in general, then being out and doing something, even if it's a super gentle walk or a little walk and then a seat on a park bench, it's still beneficial just being out in the world. Maybe it's nice scenery, maybe it's seeing people you know, whatever it is, being out there makes life better. When it comes to exercise in the morning, if you think you've eaten your food in the evening, your body's working through those calories and the sugar that you've consumed that day, and at some point it runs out, and then it switches to running on burning fat cells. Well, come morning, when you get up, your body's now purely running on burning fat cells until you next consume a calorie. So that splash of milk and a cup of tea or a bit of breakfast, that's your calories coming in. But up until that point, if you get up and go for a walk or you get some movement done in the morning, then every single extra calorie that you're burning is coming straight from your fat supplies. So you can burn straight off the fat supplies extra by getting a little bit of exercise done in the morning. It doesn't have to be the gym or a run or anything like that. It could be a couple of times up and down the stairs. It could be a few laps of the garden. Anything is beneficial, especially we call it steady state fasted cardio, which is just movement, gentle movement before any calories have went in that day so that you're burning straight off of your fat supplies. We want to create a new normal, right? I would say that normal is the thing that puts the weight on, and a diet, hate the word, but a diet is the thing that gets the weight off. But then we stop the diet and we go back to normal, and normal puts the weight on. So the only solution is that we make a new normal. And if you can make the commitment to yourself that every day for 10 minutes or so, nothing extravagant, if every day you can put in 10 minutes of movement into your day and make that commitment, a solid commitment to yourself, you are in the process of building that new normal that will have your health, longevity, mobility, waistline, far more as you would like it to be. So that's really important. But it doesn't have to be massive weights. It doesn't have to be anything too extravagant. Park at the far end of the supermarket car park. It's a few hundred extra steps. On your lunch break, do you sit in the canteen or in the staff room, just, sitting on your phone? Can you go for a wander on your lunch break for 10 minutes? It's just 10 minutes. It's actually really nice. You'll find actually that if you get up in the morning and go for a walk or do some sort of movement, you never feel worse off for it. Now, if you're feeling sluggish or tired or, head fuzzy in the morning, a little bit of movement, particularly outside, changes your mindset for the whole day. And as I say, the exercise in the evening, tiring out, working out your stress, working through those calories, it really makes for a better night's sleep, as well as removing temptation, because how many people have sat on the sofa, you've had your evening meal, you're not hungry, you've eaten an hour and a half earlier, and you're kind of twiddling your thumbs. And so you think, I'll just get a wee biscuit or something out of the cupboard. Well, if you went out for a walk or going for a swim or whatever it might be, you're not sitting there twiddling your thumbs. And so you're removing temptation from yourself, temptation that often can be too much for you to resist. So it really does make a massive difference. Morning exercise, any movement, anytime. If you think that stagnation isn't good, right? They say that if a shark stops swimming, it drowns. If a puddle of water gets isolated and left for a long time, it gets scummy and horrible. We're not meant to stay still. So moving in any way that you can makes life better. Secret tip, weighted walking. Now, it doesn't have to be giant weights on your body, but weighted walking burns 2, 3, 4, 5 times the calories as just going for a walk. I'll give you a silly example. If you walked for 100 yards, you probably wouldn't be exhausted. If you carried a piano and walked for 100 yards, you'd be bloody knackered. Why is that? Because the more weight you're holding on your body, the harder your body has to work to move. So I think if you go for a walk for an hour, you can burn about 300 calories. But if you go for a walk for an hour with carrying 15 kilograms, you can burn something like 1,500 calories. Now, I'm not suggesting you have to walk with 30 pounds or 15 kilograms on your body, but a litre of water or 2 litres of water in a rucksack or some heavy books. You can get wrist weights, you can get ankle weights. Any weight that you can carry while you're going for a walk or doing some movement makes your body work harder, so you're working through those calories quicker. Now, that could be, again, at the tail end of the day, working through the calories quicker to get into fat burning mode, or when you get up in the morning and you're already in fat burning mode, burning those extra fat cells just by carrying that little bit of extra weight with you as you go. Now, Weight Loss with Edward, what we're doing here is every day, Monday to Friday, we're covering what we call the 5 pillars of health: nutrition, hydration, sleep, movement, and mind. What we do is we address all of those parts of life, because it's not just what goes on your plate. It's how you're feeling. Do you like yourself? Are you sleeping? Are you moving? Are you staying hydrated? And what's on your plate. So we have a community of people. We run daily classes and one-to-one catch-up calls and recipes and meal plans. And the whole idea is it's not you bending your life to fit some plan. There are principles that are just science, and we make them really simple to understand, make sure you've got plenty of food ideas, and that we build a routine in the context of your life that fits your life. A little tweak here, a little tweak there, making life better, just one little better choice at a time. And that gets all of life feeling better. So less sugar, better sleep, more energized, more able to resist temptation, more likely to go for a walk. All of those things make for more weight loss and a better sleep and a better mood. And so it all comes together. And so we don't, at Weight Loss with Edward, we do things differently. It's not all about what was on your plate yesterday. It was about how's life? Are you happy? Are you coping? Are you sleeping? So yes, of course, what you eat matters, but move when you can. Stay hydrated, sleep as well as you can. Don't sit up all night scrolling. And every day we're going to cover each of the 5 pillars of health. So tune in, please, over the next couple of days. Ask any questions, send me a message. If you want some information, you don't have to come on board. But if you want some information, send me a message. We can have a wee chat. I can give you some pointers for your journey. But yeah, have a good day. Hope you found that useful, and we'll speak soon.